Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into a topic that's been bubbling under the surface of the football world for years, a subject that FIFA, the global governing body of football, probably has nightmares about. We're talking about the one group, or rather, the idea of a group, that FIFA absolutely does not want to happen. A force that could fundamentally challenge their immense power and reshape the beautiful game as we know it. This isn't just some conspiracy theory. It's a very real threat to FIFA's established order. One that has already shown its face in various forms and continues to lurk in the shadows of football's complex ecosystem. Now, before we get too deep, let's set the stage a little bit and understand just how powerful FIFA truly is. Think of FIFA as the undisputed emperor of world football, holding sway over every corner of the globe where a ball is kicked. From the smallest amateur league to the grandest World Cup final, they dictate the rules. They organize the biggest tournaments, and they rake in billions of dollars, making them one of the most influential and wealthiest sporting organizations on the planet. Their power comes from a carefully constructed pyramid scheme, where every national football association and continental confederation ultimately answers to them, creating a unified, albeit often controversial, global structure. This colossal influence isn't just about sporting regulations. It extends deeply into politics, economics, and even social dynamics across continents. FIFA's decisions can impact national economies, shape political landscapes, and even influence cultural identities, all through the lens of football. They control the calendar, the transfer system, and the very definition of what constitutes a recognized football competition, essentially holding the keys to the kingdom. So, when we talk about a group that FIFA doesn't want to happen, we're talking about something that could genuinely destabilize this meticulously built empire. Something that could snatch away their control and their revenue streams. So, what exactly is this dreaded group? This potential game changer that keeps the suits in Zurich awake at night? It's not a single entity, but rather a collection of potential challenges that, if fully realized and unified, could form an alternative power structure in football. At its core, it's about any significant collective that could operate outside of FIFA's direct authority, establishing its own rules, its own competitions, and its own financial model. This is about a challenge to the very principle of FIFA's sporting monopoly. A direct threat to their claim as the sole legitimate global authority in football. The most obvious and recent manifestation of this threat, one that sent shockwaves through the football world, was the ill-fated European Super League. Remember that seismic announcement a few years ago, when a dozen of Europe's biggest clubs declared their intention to form a breakaway competition? That was a direct, audacious challenge to UEFA and, by extension, FIFA, threatening to siphon off billions in revenue and fundamentally alter the club football landscape forever. It was a declaration of independence from the established order. A move driven by a desire for more control, more money, and guaranteed participation for the elite. The motivations behind the Super League were pretty clear. The participating clubs felt they weren't getting their fair share of the immense wealth generated by European football, particularly the Champions League. They argued that they were the main attractions, the global brands, and therefore deserved a larger slice of the pie, along with more control over their own destinies. They envisioned a closed shop, a league where their positions were secure, free from the worries of relegation or the need to qualify through domestic leagues, ensuring consistent revenue and global exposure. This model, however, flew directly in the face of football's traditional pyramid structure and the principle of sporting merit, which dictates that success should be earned through competition. FIFA and UEFA reacted with immediate and ferocious opposition, threatening to ban clubs and players from all other competitions, including the World Cup. They understood that a successful Super League would not only decimate their revenue streams but also severely undermine their authority and the entire structure of European and global football. The backlash from fans, pundits, and even governments was unprecedented, showcasing the deep emotional connection people have to the traditional football pyramid and the idea of open competition. This public outcry, combined with the threats from governing bodies, ultimately led to the rapid collapse of the Super League project. But the underlying tensions and desires for change haven't disappeared. The Super League was just one very public example of this desire for an alternative power structure. But it highlights the core fear FIFA harbors: the idea of powerful entities uniting to operate independently. Imagine if the top clubs, not just in Europe but globally, were to form a truly unified front, an independent association that could negotiate directly with broadcasters, sponsors, and even players, bypassing FIFA and its continental confederations entirely. This would be a monumental shift, a transfer of power from the governing bodies to the commercial entities that generate the most interest and revenue, fundamentally altering the sport's economic and political landscape. Beyond the clubs, another formidable group that FIFA would undoubtedly dread is a truly unified and powerful global player union. Currently, we have FIFPRO, the International Federation of Professional Footballers, which does important work advocating for players' rights and conditions. However, imagine a player union with unprecedented collective bargaining power, one that could genuinely challenge FIFA's control over player contracts, transfer fees, and even the international match calendar. Such a union could demand a fairer distribution of football's immense wealth, ensuring that players, who are the primary entertainers and assets, receive a more equitable share of the profits. A truly powerful global player union could also push for significant reforms to the transfer system, which many argue is exploitative and often disadvantages players, especially younger ones. They could advocate for greater freedom of movement, better protection against contract disputes, and more robust health and safety standards across all leagues and nations. This level of collective action would be incredibly disruptive to FIFA's current model, which relies on a certain degree of player fragmentation and a system where individual players often have less leverage than the clubs or governing bodies. It would be a true labor movement on a global scale, something that has historically been met with strong resistance from established powers. Think about the implications. If players, as a united front, could collectively refuse to play in certain tournaments or demand specific changes to the international calendar, FIFA's ability to schedule lucrative competitions like the World Cup would be severely hampered. This kind of organized resistance would force FIFA to the negotiating table on terms they are unaccustomed to, potentially leading to significant concessions that impact their revenue and control. It would shift the balance of power dramatically, giving the actual performers a much louder voice in how the game is governed and how its wealth is distributed, something FIFA would certainly want to prevent at all costs. Then there's the less visible, but equally potent, threat of genuinely independent regulatory and oversight bodies. FIFA, like many large organizations, prefers to regulate itself, maintaining control over investigations into corruption, ethics, and financial irregularities. However, History has shown that this self-regulation can be deeply problematic, as evidenced by numerous scandals like FIFA Gate, which exposed widespread corruption within the organization. An independent body, one truly free from FIFA's influence and funded by external sources, could shine a much-needed light into the darkest corners of football governance. Such a body could conduct thorough, unbiased investigations into financial dealings, ethical breaches, and human rights issues related to major tournaments and infrastructure projects. It could hold officials accountable without fear of reprisal, something that is often difficult within an organization where power is concentrated and loyalty is highly valued. The transparency and accountability that such a group could bring would be anathema to FIFA, which has historically preferred to operate with a degree of opacity, making it difficult for outsiders to scrutinize its operations. This isn't just about catching wrongdoers. It's about fundamentally changing the culture of governance within football. Consider the impact on major decisions, like the bidding process for the World Cup. An independent oversight body could ensure that bids are genuinely merit-based, free from the influence of backroom deals or illicit payments, something that has plagued past World Cup selections. It could also monitor the treatment of migrant workers involved in stadium construction, ensuring ethical labor practices and preventing human rights abuses. This level of external scrutiny would force FIFA to operate with unprecedented levels of integrity and transparency, something they have consistently resisted throughout their history, making this kind of independent oversight a significant threat to their established way of doing business. Another powerful group FIFA would fear is a truly unified front of national football associations that decide to challenge FIFA's global dominance. While FIFA is structured as a federation of national associations, in practice, the power often flows from the top down. What if a significant number of major footballing nations, perhaps from different continents, decided to band together and demand a more equitable distribution of World Cup revenues, or greater autonomy in setting their own domestic calendars? This kind of coordinated action could create a powerful bloc that FIFA would find incredibly difficult to ignore or suppress. Imagine a scenario where the leading federations from Europe, South America, and perhaps even Asia, collectively decided to push for reforms to FIFA's presidential election process, demanding more transparency and genuine democratic representation. They could challenge the current voting system, where every nation, regardless of its footballing size or economic contribution, gets one vote. A system that FIFA often leverages to maintain power by securing votes from smaller nations. Such a collective challenge would force FIFA to confront internal dissent on a scale they rarely face, threatening their carefully managed political landscape. This kind of internal revolt, where the constituent parts of the empire decide to assert their collective will, could lead to a significant decentralization of power within global football. It could mean national associations having more say over their own development funds, more control over their domestic leagues, and a greater voice in international decision-making. This would chip away at FIFA's monolithic authority, transforming it from an emperor to more of a coordinator. A role they would undoubtedly resist. It's about shifting from a top-down command structure to a more genuinely federated model, where power is distributed more evenly among its members. Let's also not forget the power of a truly organized and globally coordinated fan movement. While individual fan protests are common, imagine if fans from across continents, utilizing social media and digital platforms, could coalesce into a single, powerful voice demanding radical changes to football governance. This isn't just about boycotting a specific match. It's about a sustained, organized campaign targeting sponsors, broadcasters, and even governments, demanding greater accountability from FIFA and its confederations. Fans are the lifeblood of the game, and their collective voice, if properly amplified and directed, could be incredibly potent. Such a movement could push for things like fan ownership models for clubs, greater transparency in club finances, and a stronger emphasis on local communities rather than global commercialization. They could demand an end to things like excessive ticket prices, inconvenient match timings, and the erosion of traditional club identities in pursuit of new markets. This kind of organized fan power would be a direct challenge to the commercial interests that often drive decisions in modern football, forcing governing bodies and clubs to prioritize the supporters who sustain the sport. It would be a powerful reminder that football ultimately belongs to the people who love it, not just the corporations that profit from it. The cumulative effect of these various groups, whether it's breakaway leagues, unified player unions, independent oversight bodies, rebellious national associations, or organized fan movements, points to a single overarching threat for FIFA: the erosion of its monopoly. FIFA thrives on being the sole, undisputed authority, the one indispensable entity that governs global football. Any group or alliance that can operate successfully outside or in direct opposition to FIFA's structure represents a direct challenge to that fundamental principle. It's about the potential for alternative centers of power to emerge, creating a more fragmented, and for FIFA, a far less controllable, football landscape. So, why hasn't this happened more effectively already, given the clear motivations and historical precedents? Well, FIFA is incredibly adept at maintaining its power, employing a variety of strategies to prevent these kinds of challenges from gaining traction. One of their most potent weapons is the threat of exclusion. As seen with the Super League, FIFA and UEFA can threaten to ban clubs and players from all official competitions, including the highly lucrative World Cup and Continental Championships. For players, the dream of playing in a World Cup is often paramount. And for clubs, the financial and prestige losses from being cut off from mainstream football are simply too great to bear. Another key strategy is financial leverage. FIFA distributes significant funds to national associations and confederations, especially smaller ones, which often rely heavily on this money for development programs, infrastructure, and even operational costs. This creates a strong incentive for these associations to remain loyal to FIFA, as challenging the status quo could jeopardize their funding. It's a classic carrot and stick approach, where the financial carrot keeps many in line, even if they harbor reservations about FIFA's governance. This financial dependency creates a powerful mechanism for control, ensuring that dissent is often stifled before it can grow into a significant movement. Furthermore, FIFA benefits from the inherent fragmentation within football itself. Clubs often compete fiercely against each other. Players have varying interests based on their careers and nationalities, and national associations have their own regional rivalries. This makes it incredibly difficult for these disparate groups to unite under a common banner and present a truly unified front against FIFA. FIFA is skilled at exploiting these divisions, playing different factions against each other to prevent a cohesive opposition from forming. It's a classic divide and conquer strategy that has served them well for decades, maintaining their position at the top of the pyramid. The legal landscape also plays a crucial role. FIFA and its confederations have established a robust legal framework that underpins their authority, including rules on player transfers, competition formats, and dispute resolution. Challenging these structures often involves complex and lengthy legal battles, which can be incredibly costly and time-consuming, acting as a significant deterrent for potential challengers. The legal precedent often favors the established governing bodies, making it an uphill battle for any group seeking to operate outside their jurisdiction. This legal fortress further solidifies FIFA's control and makes it difficult for alternative structures to emerge. However, the desire for change and the potential for these alternative power structures to emerge haven't gone away. The economic pressures on clubs, the increasing commercialization of the sport, and the ongoing demand for greater transparency and accountability mean that these ideas will continue to resurface.